Hello and welcome to Football Daily. I'm Sam, and today we are looking at 10 players who left their clubs in disgrace. Here we go. 10. Luis Figo. We begin in the summer of 2000 where Portuguese legend Luis Figo was about to make headlines for the most controversial transfer in Spanish footballing history. The Catalonia player was at the peak of his career and was arguably the best player in Europe at the time. Figo had helped the Blaugrana win successive league titles, 2 Copa del Reys and the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. At the time, the current Los Blancos president, Florentino Perez, was in pursuit for presidency and secretly met with Figo and his agent to make a very interesting proposal. He offered to make the Portuguese international his main man at the Bernabeu if he was to be elected, and if he failed, a €1 million payout. Not a bad deal. Perez used the Figo transfer as a big part of his campaign, exciting the Madrid fans. Meanwhile, Figo reassured his teammates the rumours were false. Perez then went on to win the election and, as he promised, triggered the release clause of the megastar Luis Figo, shattering Barca fans' hearts. The uproar was so bad that Figo allegedly met with the newly elected Barcelona president, Gaspar, to pay €30 million to Perez as a penalty for the Portuguese star not wanting to sign for Madrid. Gaspar rejected this offer. Figo went on to play for Madrid for 5 years, winning La Liga title twice, the Champions League once, and the prestigious Ballon d'Or. When he returned to the Camp Nou, it was absolutely chaotic, with fans throwing many objects, including a pig's head. The Culés branded him as a traitor, a liar, and he was never forgiven. 9. Luis Suarez. When Luis Suarez joined Liverpool, the Uruguayan was tipped to bring the Reds back to their glory days, having signed from Ajax where he scored 81 times in just 110 appearances. While at Liverpool, the Uruguayan became an instant favourite. During the 2013-14 season, he scored 31 goals in just 33 games, breaking Robbie Fowler's club record of Premier League goals. Suarez almost single-handedly won Liverpool the league. If it wasn't for the infamous Gerrard slip, who knows what would have happened. Controversy is, however, a problem Suarez had carried throughout his whole career. While at Ajax, he was involved in a well-known incident where he bit the shoulder of his opponent. Fast forward to his time at Anfield, and still hungry for human flesh, he was again penalised for biting Branislav Ivanovic. David Cameron, the Prime Minister at the time, prompted the FA to take a hard line with the Uruguayan, and he was handed a 10-game match ban. Having missed a total of 32 games through suspension at Liverpool, Suarez had enough and wanted to jump ship. He blamed it on the British media, painting him out as a villain and nothing to do with his cannibalistic antics. Liverpool owner John Henry stated Suarez couldn't leave the club. Suarez then made headlines again, biting defender Chiellini at the 2004 World Cup, receiving another ban, but this time for 4 months. This would see the end of his Liverpool career as the Reds agreed to sell him to Barcelona. The Catalans did add a no-biting clause to his contract, just in case. 8. Ashley Cole. Premier League and England legend Ashley Cole was branded as the best English left-back and in the conversation of the best fullback of all time. Cole started off his trade at his boyhood club Arsenal, where he came through the youth system until head coach Arsene Wenger saw promise in the young left-back and gave him his first team opportunity. He won 2 Premier League titles, including the Invincible season and 3 FA Cups with the Gunners. Following the Invincible season, rumours emerged that he was unhappy with his current contract, and he and his agent met up with Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho to negotiate a move to Stamford Bridge. Cole denied these allegations, but was still fined £100,000. He later accused Arsenal for not backing his version of events, which led to him being fined, and was still incensed at the fact that he was being offered such a low contract. He claimed the Gunners didn't value him enough, and was so angry he almost swerved off the road when negotiating his deal on the phone to Arsenal Vice Chairman David Dein. Jose Mourinho came back to get his man, but would not meet Arsenal's valuation of Cole of £25 million. The clubs eventually made an agreement which led to William Gallas being a part of a swap deal that saw Cole become a Blue for just £5 million. On his return to the Emirates, fans threw fake money in his direction, but Cole went on to win more silverware, including the Champions League, while the Gunners went on to win no silverware for 9 years. I guess Cashley got the last laugh. 7. Adrian Mutu. Roman Abramovich transformed things at Chelsea when he took over the club in 2003. He began his reign with a huge spending spree, notably bringing in some of the world's biggest stars, including Makelele, Joe Cole, and Hernan Crespo. However, he did have a few signings he did regret, Adrian Mutu being one of them. The Romanian international was brought in to strengthen the Blues' attack, and he did so, scoring 4 goals in his first 3 matches, including 2 against London rivals Tottenham. His form, however, dipped, and he only managed to score 6 more times for the Blues. Jose Mourinho took over Chelsea in 2004, and Mutu had a bad relationship with the new manager, claiming Jose lied about his availability for international duty. Things got worse for Adrian when he failed a drugs test, testing positive for cocaine. Although he only received a 7-month ban, the Blues decided to terminate his contract. If things couldn't get any worse for Adrian, he was ordered to pay Chelsea $14.3 million in compensation after losing his final appeal legal battle in 2010, paying the Blues the money they originally used to sign him. 6. Dimitri Payet.
Hey! Have you got your global football fix yet? If not, then click the eye above and go over to Football Mundial, where Team Twat are bringing you the best stories from around the world. I'm off.
When Dimitri Payet joined West Ham in the summer of 2015 for £10.7 million, the Hammers did not know that they had acquired one of the steals of the transfer window. The Frenchman went on to feature heavily for the Claret and Blues that season and had many outstanding performances, including a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford where he scored a sublime free kick from 35 yards. West Ham ended the season 7th with 62 points, a record high for the team in the Premier League, and to round up a brilliant season for the Frenchman, he became the 38th winner of the West Ham Player of the Year award. He committed his future to the Hammers by signing a new contract until 2021, leaving fans ecstatic and excited for the future with their new talisman. But the following season didn't go quite to plan. The Hammers started the season poor, with Payet looking unusually unsettled, and he later revealed his dip in form was due to West Ham's style of play being boring. In January, Slaven Bilic announced Dimitri no longer wanted to play for the club, shocking the fans. The club rejected 2 bids from Payet's former club Marseille, infuriating the player, resulting in him not being involved for the Hammers in January, even though he was fully fit. The club wanted an apology from Payet before he left for his unprofessional conduct, but he refused. West Ham then accepted a final bid from Marseille for $25 million, allowing Payet to leave. The day after the Frenchman left the club, they removed his mural that was outside the London Stadium, destroying the last object that linked him to the club. 5. Sergi Guardiola. We head over to Catalonia for one of the most bizarre situations around a transfer in decades. Sergi Guardiola was living the dream when Spanish giants Barcelona agreed to sign him from Alcorcón. The forward was ready to replicate the legends that had come before him at Barca, and believed his time had come when he was announced as a Camp Nou player. This dream then turned into a nightmare quickly when offensive tweets about Barcelona and Catalonia on his page were found. He denied all the accusations, claiming his friend was behind all the messages. The board decided to sack the player just hours after he'd been announced. He pleaded and apologized many times, but the Catalans took it very seriously. Although the tweets were 2 years previous to him signing, tweeting Hala Madrid is unforgivable in the eyes of the Barca faithful, who originally dug up the tweets. The Spaniard's contract was terminated, and the news was happily received by the Catalonians faithful, as they tormented him with abuse online. A tough pill to swallow for Guardiola, who was left unemployed, embarrassed and ashamed, as his Twitter fingers ultimately led to the worst moment of his career. 4. Carlos Tevez. It's no secret that Carlos Tevez has tremendous talent and has proved that since his early days at Boca Juniors. The Argentinian has, however, had his fair share of disgraceful moments shadowing his career. Fast forward to his spell at Manchester City, where he even controversially crossed over from their city rivals Manchester United, becoming the first player to do that since 1999. He started his career at the Etihad very well, scoring 50 goals in just 73 appearances, becoming the second fastest to reach that landmark in the league for Manchester City. He did, however, dip in form. Following speculation, he wasn't happy and wanted a transfer away from the Blues. At the start of the 2011-2012 season, he was stripped of the captain's armband and became a bench player with the introduction of his fellow Argentine Sergio Aguero. During a Champions League game against Bayern Munich, Tevez refused to come off the bench for City, shocking manager Mancini. The Blues went on to lose that game, and an infuriated Mancini claimed he wanted Tevez out of the club. The Argentine was then suspended by City, and club owner Sheikh Mansour authorised him being placed on garden leave. Carlos didn't play for the Blues for 4 months, and he was pictured in Argentina enjoying games of golf. He eventually returned back to action, helping Manchester City claim their first Premier League title in 44 years. Juventus scooped up the Argentine a year later, where he revealed during his time off for City he almost retired from football. 3. Sol Campbell. Former England centre-back Sol Campbell had a 20-year career playing football in the Premier League. He began his journey at Tottenham Hotspur, working his way up through the youth ranks. He spent 9 years at Spurs, making 255 appearances and eventually becoming club captain, where he led his side to League Cup victory in 1999. While at Spurs, Sol said he would never play for local rivals Arsenal as a sign of loyalty. However, after running down his contract at Tottenham and refusing to sign a new deal that would make him the club's highest paid player ever, the club seemed confused with Campbell's antics. He turned down a host of offers from Europe's elite clubs, including Barcelona and Inter Milan, and instead opted to sign for Arsenal on a free transfer, breaking the hearts of the Lily Whites. Already a villain in the eyes of the Spurs faithful, the Englishman was still unapologetic, claiming he moved to Arsenal to win trophies, rubbing salt in an already deep wound he had made. While at the Gunners, Campbell helped them win 2 Premier League titles, including the Invincible run, and 2 FA Cups, becoming a legend at the club. Non-executive director David Butchler indicated in an interview with Sky Sports in 2003 that Campbell's exit still haunts the club. Tottenham fans still call him Judas to this day. 2. Patrice Evra. We all love the game of football, but no one loves the game as much as Patrice Evra. The former Manchester United player has won 21 trophies in his decorated career, including 1 Champions League and 5 Premier League trophies. When the Frenchman left the Red Devils, he was still able to get silverware under his belt, winning Serie A 3 times with Juventus. Although he was past his prime, Evra seemed to be making all the right moves. That was until he joined Marseille on a free transfer in 2017. The former France captain never really seemed to get it going, starting only 15 games due to multiple injuries and poor performances for Les Olympians. The fans began to get increasingly frustrated with Evra as he continuously made viral videos online while consistently underperforming on the pitch. The Marseille faithful seemed to have enough, and during their warm-up preceding a Europa League match against Vitoria, they began to taunt the Frenchman. Wound up, Patrice Evra volleyed the ball towards the crowd, causing them to get even more animated. But at this point, Evra had already seen red and was already climbing the billboards looking to confront the spectators. He then karate kicked one of the fans and was sent off by the referee before the game even began. A game Marseille went on to lose, making matters even worse. Evra was fined £10,000 and was banned to play any European game for 7 months by UEFA. 1. Adam Johnson. There's no secret as to why this is made number 1. The former England international had a great career, making 120 appearances for Middlesbrough. He then went on to move to Manchester City, where he won the Premier League and the FA Cup, before being signed by his hometown club, Sunderland, for £10 million in 2012. Adam, however, had a few skeletons in the closet, and in March 2015 he was arrested and charged over sexual activity with a 15-year-old girl. Johnson, however, continued to play for Sunderland during his spell, but the following year he pleaded guilty, shocking the nation and his club. He was subsequently sacked by Sunderland, and all of his endorsements were removed, including his FIFA 16 profile. Johnson's sister was still proclaiming his innocence and urged all supporters to change their profile pictures to Adam and his daughter. As crazy as it sounds, a few die-hard fans actually complied. Weird, really. In March 2016, Johnson was found guilty and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. The chairman of the PFA, Gordon Taylor, said that Johnson had damaged the reputation of football and that his chances of playing again were very remote.
So that's that, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, click here for more great FD content. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.